Hello friends, my name is Father Charles Dominique. I'm a Dominican priest working in the Diocese of Bridgetown in Barbados, and I'm here to share with you my thoughts for the 19th Sunday of Ordinary Time, Cycle C. You know, there's no certainty about life. We do not know what will happen from day to day. We plan. Sometimes those plans don't always seem to materialize. Sometimes they do. There is no certainty to life. We wake each day and we turn on our radio, we read the papers, we realize that there are just so many horrible things happening around us in the world today. The constant threat of terrorism. We find ourselves struggling with our economies, with the crisis that doesn't seem to want to go away. People are struggling to make ends meet. There's no certainty that if we are employed today, that we will be employed tomorrow. So we struggle through these economic crises. Who do we blame? The government, the business people, the banks, ourselves. We blame God. But a bad economy is not the only thing we have to worry about. We have to deal with crime and violence and a general disregard for life. Our focus sometimes continues to be on accumulating as much material things as we can, or perhaps even having lots and lots of friends as we do on Facebook, because we believe that the more we have, the happier we will be, or that it defines our status in life. But we must know we can be here today and we can be gone tomorrow, just like the wind comes and goes. There's no certainty to life. But what is to become of us? What's to become of this world that we live in? To be honest, no one knows. And yet, despite the uncertainty, we can still get up each day and believe that each day is a day of promise, that today is going to be filled with joy, that all that we hope to achieve, we will get done, we'll get it accomplished. At the moment, it is easy to become despondent because people are lacking in faith, and it's sometimes hard to see the better tomorrow. Sometimes people don't believe in God, to believe that God is fully in control and that God allows us to bear only what we really need to bear. But what is this faith that we must have? It is not about having belief in doctrines and teachings, even as these can help us to grow in our faith. Faith is, and I quote, more an openness of mind and heart. It is the way we live when we do not see what we think we must do in order to go on. St. Richard of Chichester says of God, and I quote, God is faithful, and if we serve him faithfully, he will provide for our needs. You know, it's not always easy to believe this, and yet we can be sure that God is ever faithful to us. It is a promise that we can always believe in. So with the uncertainty of life and with all that is happening around us, happening to us, we have to sometimes believe and to know that God will not let us down. He will never let us down. The author of the letter to the Hebrews says that only faith can guarantee the blessings that we hope for, or prove the existence of the realities that are present remain unseen. Using the story of Abraham, the author impresses upon us that we have to step out in faith, often not sure of what will happen, but having enough faith to trust God and to know that God will see us through. This faith also helps us to follow God's will, even when we're not sure what it is that God is calling us to. So as Abraham left his home and went off to a foreign land, as it is with Sarah, his wife, who believed in God's promise and faithfulness, as it was with Abraham and his son Isaac, Abraham trusted God enough to be prepared to offer up his very own son when God asked him to. Some people may put their trust in things or even in other people, but we learn from Abraham, who put his trust in God, who believed in God, and who was rewarded for that trust and that faith with great property. But it is not for us to be faithful to God because we want to be blessed in some way, But our faithfulness to God does indeed brings us rewards, does bring us blessings. So in these trying times, who can we trust? Who can we believe in? The answer is simple, I think. Only God. He did not bring us to this point and then to abandon us, to leave us on our own. We can be sure and trust God. In faith, we put our trust in God and then carry out our responsibilities. Faith demands that we wait for the Lord, who is our help and our shield. So in these times of uncertainty about our present and even about our future, we put ourselves and we put our complete trust in God. Whatever circumstances we find ourselves in, trust God, because God only wants the best for us. In good times and in bad times, God is there with us. By faith, we live in the presence of God, and it is this faith that will sustain us, especially in our moments of doubt. So while there may be uncertainty in life, one thing we can be sure of that is always constant, that is never changing, is that God is real and that God is here with us, that God is here for us, that God is ever faithful, and God invites us to do the same. So let us not be afraid of the uncertainties, but know that God is with us and that with God, anything and everything is possible.